Hey guys, my name is Sean Madden,
I'm Carson Baker.
and today, welcome to the Two Dirty Men podcast. Now, today's topic is going to be about camping and camping experiences. But, we're both valid outdoorsmen, so we know a lot about camping and the worst things that come in camping.
At least enough to hopefully share with you guys some tips that we've picked up because we've been on quite a few adventures now for the past 2 years since we met. And there's definitely some notable
Bad
experiences
times and some good
that,
times.
that we kind of had to figure some stuff out.
Yeah, I think we should start on how we met because we didn't just know each other at birth, sadly.
Exactly. We only met in 2022.
Yeah, we met in Reno. Funny enough.
Yeah, we were in a Raising Cane's little chicken finger spot, and pretty much went up to talk to this guy about root beer, and
yeah,
here we are two years later.
Fun fact: the root beer machine was broken. I had to go for a Dr. Pepper, and this guy came up to me. He's like, "You a root beer guy?" And that's how we're already here. That's kind of crazy. 2 years ago, it was like what, middle of October, November, or something like that.
It was early in the year, yeah.
It was before the snow, but shortly after that, we went on our first camp trip to Wet Meadows.
That's right.
That was probably the start of this crazy adventure.
That's right. That was a great trip. That's one of the
better
trips. That was our first trip, and I'm so glad it went well.
Oh yeah.
But then there's trips like Mount Rose.
Now Mount Rose one was terrible. Just to let you guys know, Wet Meadows is a beautiful place. Our camp trip there was very nice and stuff, but the Mount Rose trip was questionable, I would say.
Could say that. Yeah, we could have done some better preparation for that. We also had another person who was planning the trip. Didn't plan outstanding. I guess. At least for weather.
The mileage was off too.
At least for weather.
Yeah, the whole story about the Mount Rose trip was that we went on a backpacking trip for about one day, and we thought it would a little drizzle. That was really it.
It in the middle of the night, it was sprinkling on us, and it wasn't that big a deal. It stopped after a couple hours, and then it came down. It came back and started pouring on us.
Yeah, it was just hail.
Had to start a fire at 3 a.m. when everything was soaked because I was wet.
I was the only guy that brought a rain cover, even though my pack was like 40 pounds.
Yeah, I had a rain fly, but I wasn't prepared for that much rain. I thought it was only going to be a little bit.
Yeah, that whole trip was just us walking. And then I had an MRE that gave me food poisoning. And I was in and out of my hammock that night. And then it was 3 a.m. And then everyone was shivering to death. And then we made a fire. And me and my buddy both passed out in a blanket next to the fire. It was that cold. Everyone was just not having a good day.
When we got there, when we had hiked in, it had already been dark for a little bit, and the wind was coming off the mountain. It was a hell of a trip. I'm glad we made it out all right.
Yeah, it was a good experience, even though it was terrible.
Yeah, no, I don't regret it, but definitely we'll plan it a little better in the future.
Definitely. It wasn't too cold during the day, which was nice. It was you didn't have that frozen.
Yeah, hiking in was great.
Yeah,
that was fine.
It was beautiful. Just seeing everything. Mount Rose, if you don't know, it shares part in California and Nevada. It's a split in a sense. Check me if I'm wrong, but Mount Rose is
I think Mount Rose is just Nevada, but it's close to.
Yeah. But that was one of the more sadly worst camping trips we ever had. There has been other ones.
Definitely some takeaways from
it. Some lessons to be learned, to put it short.
Yeah.
But we did have some good ones. Wet Meadows, of course.
Had plenty
that one was beautiful. We did run into a mountain lion or something across that lake in Wet Meadows. Remember the noise? We couldn't figure out what it was.
Yeah, we went hunting for it. Not
not hunting, but
we were just trying to
find it,
figure out what it was. And never saw it again.
Yeah, I did hear coyotes.
That was cool
night.
though with the salamanders.
Oh
We found
no, those are newts.
tons of. They were long-toed salamanders.
Oh, they were. Oh, I
Yeah,
thought they were newts.
No, they were. Remember, we thought they were tiger. We
Oh
thought they
yeah,
were
tiger
poisonous.
salamander. Yeah, I was like washing my hands every 10 minutes of.
Yeah, but but the Wet Meadows, the actual pond, the lake, had tons of long-toed salamanders that were just spawning in there. So that was fun. Also, that's where I found my net. Remember?
Oh yeah, your free net. Sometimes people leave the craziest stuff. In
It
the
was
middle
just
of the
right
woods.
by the bank. I don't know.
Yeah, I
And
mean.
then I found that. I remember I found that other net when we were in Chester.
Oh yeah, that's right. You have luck with nets. It's just like
It's weird luck, but it's something, I guess.
I mean, shoot, you don't have to pay $40 for a freaking fly
I know,
net.
it was one of those nice ones too.
I
It was
know.
like the silicone.
Yeah, that's the one I have.
Yeah, yeah,
The,
so that-
it's if you guys don't know what we're talking about, for fly fishing, there's this net that's like wooden and it has like this silicone netting on it. So when you get your hook stuck in it, you can just easily just pop it off.
It's also to help keep the fish's slime coat.
Yeah.
When with traditional nets, the rope, the material they use, it will just strip fish from for their scales, and it's bad for them. Typically,
Especially
if
trout.
you handle them heavily, especially trout
Yeah.
are more delicate. So they developed silicone nets that were way better for the fish, for like a quick release. Make sure
Yeah.
they live.
I know you don't want to have dead fish flowing down the
Especially when
river.
you're not eating them.
Yeah, no, it's like when you're doing catch and release, you want that thing to be alive.
Yeah, if you're eating them, then
Doesn't matter.
Well, whatever. But
So make sure you have the legal size and legal limit at that point.
yeah.
You abide by that
definitely
law?
want to double check your regulations, but
Especially state regulations.
you know,
too.
sometimes you forget to check.
you be forgetting sometimes.
Well, you know, I feel like I know a place a little more than I probably do.
Well, I mean, hey, besides Wet Meadows, I mean, Gold Lake was fun.
Gold Lake was
We-
good.
it's,
We,
It's an off-roading, mostly rocky off-roading to get to this campsite.
yeah, we had spent a few nights there, and that's right, Casey. They brought the paddleboard out.
Oh yeah.
Fish there. We caught crawdads and had a little war. Yeah,
We're playing God.
Yeah, we were playing God,
God.
with crawdads, but no, that was cool. We went hiking the last night in the middle of the night up the mountain behind us, and ended up getting chased by a
Coyotes.
pack of coyotes.
Like it was kind of scary because we had headlamps, and I remember it's kind of the like rock climb, but not rock climb. You're just climbing over boulders to get to the spot, and we got to this plateau area, and I was looking around in my headlight, and I just see eyes, and then I told everyone, and everyone looked in that direction. And there was like 4 more eyes just looking
we
at
kept
us.
looking, and just more pairs started popping up, and we're like, yeah, I think we're gonna just head
Go.
back down. We were trying to get to the top of this thing, and we got pretty high. We got
Yeah,
up there pretty far.
especially running down the mountain.
Oh my gosh, yeah, coming back down, we were I'm surprised no one ate that much shit, except
know.
for right at the bottom. Oh, that's right. That's when I got beans too.
Oh
When
yeah.
we were running down, I saw a little frog that I grabbed, and I was running down, and right at the bottom there was a fallen tree that I didn't see, and so it just went right over.
Oh.
Luckily, I didn't crush the frog, but
Yeah. Poor
yeah, no,
beans.
that was cool.
Yeah, I mean, Gold Lake was fun. I mean, we didn't have. I mean, the only thing bad that happened besides the coyotes was me hitting my truck on that rock, like on my exhaust pipe.
It's a very
With
it's a
off-
very rocky road.
Yeah, I mean, with off-roading, you gotta be careful because if you go too fast on like off a rock or something, your suspension will go down
Gonna
and
bounce.
then up. Yeah, bounce, and then I dented my exhaust pipe after that one. But it's a new skid plate, you know. It's like the exhaust pipe's so flat, you know. It
Yeah,
just helps.
flatten it out.
No more other damage can happen to my truck.
Well,
now.
see, it's a mod. It's a mod in itself because you're bending it. So now it's a high clearance
Yeah.
exhaust.
I get an extra centimeter of space between
Yeah.
me and a rock.
Yeah, you're just putting it where you need it. Same with the skid plate. You know, we're just
Yeah.
trying to just trying to push it up a little more.
I know, it's like you just keep denting your skid plate. Eventually, it's just going to go all the way up next to your engine. More protection right there. More clearance, too. But, yeah, I mean, Gold Lake was fun. I mean, what other camping trips have we done? We done a
So so yeah, then there was last summer, Salt Springs.
few.
That was over in Amador County. And that one was super fun. I loved our spot.
That was. We were lucky because most of the gates were closed.
Oh my
and-
gosh, getting in there. There's like 3 roads in, and Salt Springs is in this massive river canyon. And because it's pretty much a big dammed up river that they turned into a reservoir. And so we were down from the reservoir and we had to find the road in. It was like Tiger Creek. It was
Tiger Creek, and
it
there's
was-
Panther Creek
and
too.
Panther Creek. Yeah. That met right all the way on the furthest end that we had to enter from, which was long. That sucker.
It was like a good
It's-
hour of just doing on the
It
small,
is just
narrow
the
road.
windiest and just right next to this cliff down the canyon.
So you look down, one wrong turn, there goes your summer. You're gonna be
But
sleeping with the fishes at that point.
but no, yeah, I was worried for a little bit. I thought we weren't going to be able to get in.
Yeah, I mean,
And
thank
then,
God.
And then there was the other entrance, the first entrance that just had like 8 feet of snow.
Yeah,
They had it carved out only to the gate, and then the gate was closed, and we were just surrounded. We were like, how the hell are we supposed to turn
but when we
around?
left though, it was
We had to
open.
back all the way out.
When we left, it was open.
So when we left, we came back up it, because down at the bottom there's a secondary gate that you can see, and if it's open, obviously the top's going to be open.
Yeah.
So when we left, that gate was open, and so that saved us so much more time.
So I hated that service road. That was like the worst.
Yeah,
road to
but it
go
got,
on.
it got us to
It
a
got
cool
us too. I
spot.
will admit.
That was
yeah.
great.
But we also lost one of our buddies there too.
We were meeting up with a couple buds. They were driving separately,
Yeah, they came
and
the day after.
I didn't realize that after a certain point we lose all service going down to Salt Springs or along the road before we enter. And so I didn't get to tell him, and I didn't know that these roads were closed. I was trying to check that they don't really post that stuff.
Yeah.
So I was trying to figure out what to do because they had no idea where to go.
There's like
and-
so many different roads we tried, and we just gave him one road that was closed because we were looking for like a straight hour for this one road to lead to Salt Springs. So once we found that road, we didn't think twice about telling our buddy that, hey,
Well, no, we couldn't. By that
yeah, we
time, we had
could,
already
yeah.
lost service. So
Yeah.
when we got to our spot, we kind of set up quickly, and then we're just rushing around trying to find service. We ended up going up behind our campsite. There's another dirt road that goes up the mountain over to these huge granite mounds that I figured would have service, and I'm pretty sure they would if we could get there. Except
Yeah.
it is the longest,
road.
steepest, and rocky road. It is rough.
Like we parked my truck.
We got up
halfway up
up
there.
so far, and it was still so much to go. So we caught our losses, came back down, and so we're like, damn, we got to just hit the dam. Go up to the dam because they've got to have something. So
You did get service at the dam.
got out. I had to climb out onto the dam to get enough, and I was able to
Yeah.
get a text out, and so I was able to send him just the name of the road.
And that
I
was
didn't
it.
get to explain anything. I was on the phone with him for a second and got to tell him which road.
Yeah, I mean the funny part is that he didn't. That next day he wasn't there, so we went on the other mountain road that we went on. Remember the one where
That's right. We
yeah.
took it was the Spur 19 road.
we just took that up and we got service.
Yeah,
Texted
that
everyone
one would
where
have been
we were.
so much easier. We just didn't think that take that road,
Yeah,
unfortunately.
but he didn't have service either, so he was actually already there. We did not know he was
They
there.
ended up there's a down from where we entered, there is another little reservoir. It's called like Panther
Panther Creek
Creek
Reservoir, yeah.
Reservoir. And so they camped there in the car.
Because they couldn't go over this water flow either. Remember the whole dam was overflowing, and there was like this makeshift waterfall that I had to plow through, but he didn't go through because he wasn't
Oh.
sure that we went there. Remember, because he was parked right
That-
outside.
Oh,
before
yeah,
that.
but that was after. That was after.
Oh yeah, that was after. Yeah,
So-
true. Yeah.
So when we went up to the Spur, because the next day we were trying to still explore, but we were worried about our friends. So I got one of the PG&E boards, one of their little stands, and I got a piece of cardboard and I had a Sharpie, and so I wrote his name and said like go this way because you had to cross cross the bridge and then come all the way back around
Yeah.
to where our campsite was because it was on the other side of the river. And I put up a sign with put his name on it, arrow this way, because otherwise he was just gonna blow right past it. And we did our little adventure, went up to the spur. That was cool
That
because
was cool.
because remember we saw the bear tracks.
Oh yeah, that's right.
We were hiking down the river. Remember we found a ton of stuff.
Yeah, we found there's still some snow, and we found the bear tracks, and we also found like
Found a few waterfalls and
we found the garter snake. Remember the garter snake we
that's
found?
right.
He was
did
in the
caught
water.
that.
He was swimming in the water, and that was fun. And then what else? I think there was something else we found there.
What was it? So we headed back down.
We hiked along the water, and then
Yeah, we went far.
we did go far. That's kind of crazy how far we went because
Well, it didn't feel like because we were just like looking at everything.
because there was a helicopter pad too. There's like the helicopter pad and the PG&E station.
That's right. That
and
was
then,
up by that upper dam.
Yeah, and then the
from-
trail.
God, what was that one?
I don't.
What was
'cause
that one called?
I know
It was
that
like
dam-
Garrett or something.
That dam led down to the water that we were following.
It was
with
Coal
the tr-
Creek.
Coal
Coal Creek. That was it.
Yeah, because the trailhead we were following was going on there, and then we kind of went, took some photos and all that stuff. But
No, it was super
It was
cool.
beautiful.
There were because up in that area it was just huge granite rocks everywhere. So it's tons of rocks to like hop around on, and like a lot of flat ones that are like water level. That it was just super. It was really pretty.
oh, I keep slipping on the ice right
Snow.
here. Yeah, just so you guys know, we're like standing on top of snow and ice, and like I just keep like slipping my leg over here. But
Yeah.
I mean,
Then then when we got back from that, we coming back to camp, and what Sean you were talking about was the part the little waterfall that he stopped at. That's when we saw him.
yep.
And they had hiked ahead to see if they could find us. And luckily they hadn't been there that long. They'd
Yeah.
only been there for like 20 minutes?
But no, they camped the night.
No, I know they camped
Oh,
the night,
yeah.
but when they got to
The waterfall.
to the right
only
road they
there
were
for
supposed to be
20
on,
minutes.
they were only there weren't there that long.
We found them. We
So it was
rescued them.
perfect timing. Came back, and then yeah, he has this BMW SUV, and yeah, like you were saying, there was an overflow that was just coming right across the road and down a little drainage, and we just had to have him send it right.
Yeah,
through.
I mean, I have a Tacoma, so I was with a snorkel, so I could just pass through
Yeah,
it
no
easily.
problem.
But a BMW, I mean, it's like you
It's
flip,
it's a
you
little
flip a
it's a little
coin.
riskier, but I mean, it wasn't that high. What was really the part we were worried about was the current. It was
Yeah.
strong, and so it was going to be pushing up. But I mean, that thing's heavy enough. It
Yeah.
was fine.
I
He
mean,
just didn't want to get a bunch of crap stuck in his car or have water come in.
yeah, I mean, BMWs aren't really the most off-roady cars out there.
Not particularly.
Not particularly.
But you
It's-
know, I mean,
It's like one of those like if
where
you
there's
get-
a will, there's a way.
yeah. I mean, BMW. If you want to make an off-road vehicle, I mean, look at Mercedes-Benz. I mean, they technically made an off-road vehicle, but no one uses it for off-roading because it's so damn expensive.
Right, the G-Wagon.
I mean, sorry to all G-Wagon owners out there, but I mean, if you scratch it, there goes $100,000 right there.
So you might as well just send it.
Just send it. Get a 4Runner. Really reliable. Toyota, I love you. You're the most reliable company out there. All right. Not sponsored, by the way, but Toyota's the best. Now, if you want to say Ford's the best, but I mean,
Everyone's got their opinion.
everyone
about
got their
everything.
opinion, but I haven't seen a Toyota on the side of the road recently. I've only-
Getting a little controversial.
I am getting a little controversial. All right?
Oh,
I'm a little Toyota
okay,
lover
it's
boy.
okay.
What can I say?
it's okay. No, it's fair.
Yeah. I mean, would you buy a Ford Ranger?
Not particularly my go-to.
I mean, I will say the 2012 Ford Rangers are like, really good, but the newer ones, yeah, I don't know.
The old square bodies. I mean, those things.
Well, those ones are
those things were
beasts.
Sweet.
Those ones are beasts. I will say that.
Anyway, we're getting a little.
We're getting sidetracked. That's for
Uh,
a different episode about car companies.
But no, getting back was fantastic because we were able to get them across, get them to camp, and then set up from there.
Yeah. I mean, those are some fun times. I mean, I can say this.
Oh
for-
my gosh.
Huh.
We had, when we first got there, the river was at a certain level, and we didn't realize that
Oh,
it may start to rise here.
all of our
soon.
sodas were gone.
We had all our drinks in this little cove that had like a little rock perimeter that was in the river, and we thought
Yep.
that was fine. We didn't think the river was going to rise a 1.5
half overnight too. Not even overnight.
No, it was just
like
throughout
2
the day.
Yeah.
We came back in like a couple hours, and
all it-
we just looked down from the river. We just see one like float away. We're like,
A
so
drink.
we run down. I get my fishing net, and we start like scooping them up.
Oh my god!
They
I
were
remember
getting all caught up under.
I had to get
under
my
the huge
waders.
rock. Yeah, that's
Remember,
right.
I got my
you
waders.
in
I was
the
trying
water.
to net all them.
That was that was not ideal, but luckily we didn't lose too many.
But I remember you told me this scary stories. One scary story is from Spanish Springs. You told me this last night. Remember that one?
From Spanish
Spanish Springs at night when you went on the night hike.
night hike.
Remember?
Which night hike?
You said you heard my voice.
Salt Springs.
Salt
not
Springs.
Spanish
Oh,
Springs.
not Spanish Springs. Salt Springs.
Salt Springs. Yeah. So every camping trip we have a little tradition. It's not. I guess it's kind of a tradition.
I
now.
guess it is.
we
now, yeah.
get a big stick and we make spears
Yep.
because why not?
Yeah. Why not? I mean,
So me and our buddy who we just got there, we were going out to find our sticks because we were going to bring them back and shape them. And as we were walking out in just the middle of the woods, we had our headlamps, but dark, just thick woods, trees everywhere. And I don't know, I felt like I heard like some voices. Like I was like getting a little tripped out. And then I thought I heard Sean behind me, like say like wait up or something. And I literally turned around. I like stopped in my tracks, and Alec, our buddy, was like, "Hey, what are you doing?" I was like, "Oh, I'm just waiting for Sean." And I turn around, he's not there. I'm like, "Never mind. Let's just keep going." So that was the end of that. But I was like, "Yeah, we're gonna keep an eye out here."
I mean,
really.
hearing voices in the woods is not the best.
It's not ideal, but I mean, it was kind of cool too.
I
When
mean,
we got back to camp, it was kind of like that was kind of cool. But in the moment, I was like, let's just get the
back to the
let's get the
tent.
stick and get out of here.
I mean, talk about scary stories. I mean, I have a few. I mean, I remember one time it was my freshman year. Actually, no, before freshman year of it was actually after my senior year of high school. Sorry, it was a summer, and a couple of buddies of mine went to Stanislaus Forest. Now, I love Stanislaus Forest. My family's camped there multiple times, but for this weird occasion on our campsite, we found kitchen knives in the tree. That was the first kind of warning. I should be like, maybe I shouldn't be here, or like I should maybe get the hell out of here. But I didn't think that, of course, because like I wasn't gonna let kitchen knives in the tree stop me from camping. But later that night, we had some kind of weird things happen, I would say. I mean, I don't know if there were poachers. I don't know if there were just people screwing with us or whatnot, but we saw flashlights in the middle of the woods near a campsite, and I thought nothing of it. I mean, could be hikers or whatnot, but around 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock, we just heard a fully automatic firearm just spray that night. And it got closer, and closer to us, to essentially where you could hear a little bing, bing, like off the hill. And I was just like, screw this. We're going to get the hell out of here, because it's like, we just kept hearing it. It got closer and closer. We just booked it out that night. I mean, I would not ever recommend that. I mean, if you hear gunshots at night, first off, that's illegal in California. And B, fully automatic firearm is illegal in California. I mean,
Yeah, but you weren't gonna go pull the rule book out on the
I'll get Gavin Newsom. I was like, "Go get the law book right here, buddy. All right, I'll be the ATF for a day."
Don't turn into what you hate.
I know. Yeah, screw the ATF. But no, but I mean, that was like one of the most freakiest ones, like life-threatening, I would say. Not really like spooky, but like life-threatening in a sense, because I mean, if you're in the middle of the woods, you have no service, you can't call 911. Like,
well, I mean, it's gonna take so long to get out there.
It's like, I've been shot.
No, it's just duck and cover.
Yeah, I mean, that's why ghillie suits come into handy. Just hide in the
hide
in the woods,
line of fire, because it's not like the guy was just, he might get sprayed, get a little caught up.
I mean, hey, no Russian. I mean, that's what he's probably thinking in his head. You ever seen that scene from Call of Duty?
Which one?
It was, I think it was like Advanced Warfare or Modern Warfare. It was like, no Russian. We're all Russians are in the American airport and they have all these LMGs. It's like this whole cutscene, and then they say no Russian, just spread the whole airport. If you guys know that reference, it's a Call of Duty reference. It's big internet meme at this point. But yeah, I'm getting sidetracked though. But I mean, the woods are kind of scary. I mean, a lot of stuff happens. I mean, like, it's not like the big city where, you know, the nearest person's about 100 feet away from you. It's more like you don't know. Like, you legit don't know who's here. Like, unless you see a car or something. But
Yeah, and I mean, I grew up. We didn't do a lot of campsites. We did a lot of primitive camping because, I mean, I would rather take my chances with the animals than with people.
yeah,
And plus, people can, you know, they can be a little loud and
crazy.
obnoxious sometimes.
I mean, I would take my chances with Yogi the bear.
There you go.
Settle things out, you know.
Yeah, like when I was in Canada, we were at Cat Lake in British Columbia up by Squamish.
Jesus Christ. I keep slipping. I just keep slipping.
And this was while me and my buddy, this was summer 22, and me and my buddy had we were doing a road trip up through Canada, and we were at Cat Lake. Night we got there, the ranger, the camp host had told us that there was a bear in the area. Nothing too crazy. It was just, you know, a little too friendly. We took that. We're like, okay, for sure. And we were wiped from traveling. We were so tired. Got back to our little site, went to sleep, and we kind of left. May have left like a couple little things out.
What things?
In the middle of the night. Well, also I didn't realize my buddy had a little chocolate bar in his bag, also in the tent. So in the middle of the night, you just hear sniffing around the tent, and nothing. You know, I wasn't gonna do it. I was just gonna sit there. We're not doing anything. Just like not gonna try to provoke this thing. But he was sniffing around, and I was just trying to just wait him out. And then eventually by morning, I got up and yeah, we had some stuff strewn about. I had to go chase a bag of marshmallows halfway up this hill, and then graham crackers and chocolate everywhere. I was like, God damn it!
He was having a buffet.
Yeah,
He's gonna make s'mores on the woods.
We were
with all
so
his
tired we
buddies.
forgot to put some of our s'more stuff away, which was a little unfortunate, but kind of, I guess we're asking for it.
I mean, yeah. I mean, if you ever go camping, guys, make sure if there is a bear present, just like put all your food in the car.
That's why they have bear boxes.
Yeah.
Put it in a tree. Put it in a bag. Put it in a tree.
Yeah, that's probably the easiest way. Like, just tie it to a rope, and like put a rock on the other end of the rope, swing it up on a tree.
You don't need it if it's something super smelly and you think might be a bear in the area. Don't put it near your camp.
Yeah,
Put it just like a little ways away.
yeah. I mean, from all our experiences, I mean, what do you think would be the best preparedness for camping? Like, what should you bring? Like, camping essentials.
Well, you got it. It depends on where you're going, what time of year, temperature wise, because I mean, when it comes down to it, you need layers.
Yeah.
People don't realize that even if it's like, you know, 60s and during the day and stuff, like when you're camping in the summer, fair. I mean, that's fair game. I mean, at night it can be hot, but people don't realize that in that early morning, like 3 in the morning, 4, when it's like that dew comes in, it's cold.
Oh yeah.
And you will not have a good night. So definitely I would say make sure you have all the layers you want and need.
Yeah.
Of course, supplies for food, depending on how long you're going to be there.
Yeah, I mean,
You don't want anything too, messy, or like that takes a lot of preparation, unless you're prepared for that. So like, you know, prepared meals, even cooking before. Like we used to, with my family, we used to cook spaghetti, and like you can bring all that stuff out and just like heat it up on the fire, and it's super easy. Or like we'll cook like fajitas, like you cook all like the stuff that needs to be cooked, like the meat and like the veggies, and then just have it like ready to go.
yeah, I mean,
It makes that so much easier.
yeah, I mean, like,
And also when you're transporting anything fragile, like bananas will not last. They're going to get all beat up and bruised, so you just got to be prepared for that. Eggs, you should Get a carton. They have
Those-
pre-cracked ones, but they're always way more expensive. So I suggest just getting a carton of eggs and just cracking them into an empty water bottle. It's so much easier
Or you
that
can
way.
even just there's like
You can also get
the
powdered. You
plastic
can get
ones.
powdered eggs.
Yeah, you can get powdered, but you ever seen those plastic cases for eggs? Like you put them individually in there.
But that takes up space,
Yeah, I
and
know.
it's more stuff to pat
Yeah.
down, make sure it's gonna be secure. So I just wouldn't want to deal with
Yeah.
shells generally. Also, what's good is to bring a separate container or go get like one of those Arrowhead containers, water jugs, for a little washing station. Because with camping, everything just gets dirty way easier. Obviously.
That's true. I mean,
Obviously.
you're gonna get mud on your pants.
Like the first day, you get stained with dirt, and you didn't even know you could. So, yeah, bring like a little. I get some dish soap, put it in like one of those little hand sanitizer bottles. Do that, and then you just have your little wash station. Because, I mean, it's not gonna kill a little dirt. Dirt's not gonna kill you, but over time, you can get like a lot of bacteria and stuff built up, especially if you start getting cuts. With camping, I mean, you're way more prone to like getting some
splinters, scrapes,
injuries.
and all that stuff.
Exactly, stuff that can get infected, especially when you're exposed to the elements. So, so I would suggest having some sort of cleanup, especially having a first aid kit since we're going into that.
Yeah.
Have just the basics. Bringing some like alcohol, rubbing alcohol, any kind of bandages. I recently had an injury on a camp trip. Oh God, yeah, this one was
I
rough.
remember that one. Well, I wasn't there, but I remember you
Yeah,
telling me about
no,
it.
I showed you. We were down in Mammoth, and we were hiking Rainbow Falls, and that was super cool. It was like a couple miles out, and we got there, and of course, I wanted to do a side quest and get to the other side of the falls. So we were at a point where you can see it. I wanted to get on top of the falls. I go across where the river kind of is shallow and wide. Took my boots off, was crossing. Getting through the river was fine. It was cold, but I mean, it was fine, no problems. Get to the other side, it's just a wall of slate. And slate's sharp. It's like thin, like it has a lot of edges, so it is just kind of like serrated. And I was just trying to find a place to put my boots back on.
Yeah.
Just took 2 steps, moved my left foot across, and it just caught one of the pieces of slate, caught the padding of my foot, just sliced it open like deli meat. It was instantly just gushing blood everywhere. Absolutely everywhere. It was just this big old flap on the bottom. It was, sorry to get a little, sorry for the details, but I'm just trying to tell you, it was not fun. I was kind of pissed. But I didn't have anything on me. I had all my gear with the people that I was with. And so I just had to suck it up, clean it off in the river, put my socks and shoes and my boots back on. And I'd already crossed, and I was like, screw it, I need to make this worth it. So I hiked up to the top of the falls, and they were taking pictures. They had no idea that I had just completely torn my foot open.
You got a bloody shoe, you know.
By the end, I had blood just seeping out of my boots.
Ugh.
And I didn't tell them originally. When I first got back to meet back up with our people, I didn't tell them that I had done it because there was nothing I could do. I didn't have anything on me. We weren't at camp. We were just hiking that day, and there was no point in telling them because there was nothing we could do, and I didn't want them to worry.
Yeah.
So I just had to be like, oh, I just got a little injury on my foot. I'm fine. And so I had to hike back 2 miles with an open flap, just soaking in a bath of blood. And in that moment, I didn't have anything that could cover up my cut. I had Band-Aids, some Neosporin, or like antibacterial, but I didn't have anything that could close it up. I didn't have this was like stitches level cut,
Right.
like a stitch level cut. I didn't have like butterfly bandages or anything. So nothing I could do. Had to hike back, and I now always carry super glue. That one is a good quick fix. It would have been tough at the time because it would have been wet, but what you do is you get like some gauze or like some micro pour tape, put it over the cut, and then you put the super glue in the tape and let it soak it up into it, because the tape will hold the skin in place, and then the glue will lock it in and make sure it's absolutely shut. So at that time, I really wish I had super glue. So now I always carry it with me, no matter what. Even if I don't even need like a first aid kit, I'm bringing super glue. Or like some duct tape. Because like that one, it would have been good for the time since it was spewing blood.
Close up the wound at least. Yeah.
But yeah, at least some kind of coverage. Anyway, yeah, I got back and had to deal with that back at camp. Luckily, it was the last day. But yeah, not fun. It finally has stopped. It finally is done healing now. Like for a while, when I got back,
You were limping.
I was limping. No, I needed like a boot, but I didn't want to go to the health clinic because I felt like I could take care of myself. And
Yeah.
luckily, I don't think it was luck, but it's a good thing I've had history with injuries, I guess, because it didn't get infected. I was able to heal it
Take
up
care
pretty
of it,
good.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, definitely watch out what you're stepping in. And I definitely would have rather have gotten my boots wet than have that happen. So
Yeah.
I'm just dealing with a nice scar now, but glad it's over.
Yeah, I mean, the most important thing is to prep for the worst. I mean, like, even for cold weather or injuries, like Carson said, like, just bring a med kit, and like also just bring extra stuff. Like, if you are not backpacking, in a sense, like, you don't need to worry about weight or anything. Like, if you're just camping out with your folks or your friends, bring as almost not too much stuff, but enough stuff to feel satisfied.
This will come with experience. When you camp a lot and you have a lot of experience with like missing things or having too much of something, you'll know what you should bring extras of and what you'll be good with what you have. Yes, being wary of weight, especially when doing more backpack type trips or hike trips, is very important. Staying lightweight, because that every ounce you'll feel, especially the more miles you go.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you have extra space, it doesn't hurt to over prepare a little bit.
Yeah. And you're gonna
because
learn,
you'd rather have it and not need it.
Yeah. Because like when you go camping, a lot of the times, like, you will learn like, oh, I don't need this. I don't need to bring it. You know, like you just make mistakes and you learn from those. Like, for example, I remember our first camping trip, we brought so much stuff, and right now we just cut that in half.
What was one of the things we brought that was
useless?
That we just
didn't use it. I mean, we didn't really use the propane cooker. We usually just used our fire.
We just use the fire.
Like, you learn, like,
it's good to bring them. Like when we were at Salt Springs, I had a whole kitchen set up.
Yeah.
Well, because in that time it was great to have, because we had like
six guys.
People.
Yeah.
We had like six guys, so we had to be cooking all the time.
Yeah. But I mean, like, you just
brought a little easy up, a table, just like simple stuff. You don't have to get crazy with it.
Yeah. And I mean, for food wise too, like, have a cooler, like a decent sized cooler. If you're going camping now, like for a couple days, I would suggest. But if you're just doing one day or a night, don't bring too much food. But if you're doing like a good 4 or 5 days, you're gonna need a cooler, and you're gonna need at least 3 meals per day and a lot of water.
And this can all depend on the type of year. If it's like this time of year and it's cold, you can kind of you don't need like anything crazy to keep your food cold, because it's going to stay cold anyway.
You're basically living in a refrigerator.
But in the summer, definitely think about a good insulated cooler. They have like, soft coolers now that are really good. But if you're going for a few days, you need to keep it cold for a few days. Party ice isn't great for longevity. It will melt within like 2-3 days, depending on the kind of weather you're in. But block ice, if you can find block ice, they sell it at gas stations. Not as common anymore, depending on where you're at. You can call around, and they'll tell you whether they have it or not, so you don't got to stop and find out for yourself. But they just are these huge cubes of ice, and they last way longer. They will last a week.
Yeah, I mean, another essential thing is water. I mean, you can,
of course,
yeah. I mean, like you gotta. I mean, if you have a water bladder, I would very suggest getting a water bladder. But
and a filter,
yes, filter
water
like
filter.
a life straw is perfect for camping
Or get
or
or
hiking.
a pump. A pump is great. Life straws are cool because you can kind of just drink it straight
Yeah.
out. But if you are not going to be by a water source constantly, get a pump because you can pump it into water bottles and fill up bladders and everything to have when you're not by water. Because a life straw, you can't really do that as well.
Yeah. I
They
mean,
they can get costly, but they're worth it.
yeah.
And then yeah, bringing water to begin with is you need each. I mean, I brought like
I say
2
2 gallons per
minimum,
person. If
depending
you're
on
doing,
how long for like Salt Springs. That's what we
yeah.
did.
I mean, like if you're staying for a good 4 or 5 days, 2 gallons per person is perfect. Because like that gives you enough drinking water.
As long as you have the space to do
Yeah,
it,
as long as
then you don't have to worry about a filter as much. But if you're limited on space, make sure you're by a reliable
water source.
that you would feel comfortable drinking out of. Of course, the filter will filter out impurities and stuff, but still, you don't want to drink out of a stagnant pond.
I mean,
That's kind of with algae growing.
another option you could do that'll save you money is boil the water.
You can, of course.
If you boil the
always an
water
option.
and like kind of clean it out, like a sense like you boil it first, and if there's like soot in it, kind of put like a paper towel.
Well, no, you can use clothing to.
Oh, you can use
if
clothing,
you
yeah.
don't have like a sifter or anything to strain all any kind of rocks or
Yeah.
dirt in it. You can use clothing. That is always, like just get something clean. You don't want to use like a dirty sock.
Yeah, you don't want. I mean, it's like you kind of have to get that soot out.
But you can, once you boil it, you don't have to necessarily strain it. You can drink it. It's just preferred if you want it to be
unless you want
a
some
little cleaner,
little dirt and yeah,
it'll all the bacteria and everything will
die.
be killed. It'll just still be in it.
I mean, it's clean dirt, clean rocks and clean dirt. Like
yeah, that's one of the ways you do it. If you don't have like a fire or like anything to hold water in, very well, you can use. I've seen people carve out like logs, start a fire on a log, or sorry, not start a fire on a log. They carved out a log to like make a little bowl, filled it up with water. They didn't have a container, so they were just kind of like shoveling it in, and then they got rocks from the fire that were super heated, put it in there, and they boiled the water. It was still kind of like it had stuff in it, but it was clean because they had already boiled it with rocks.
I mean, the
That
most
was interesting.
camping essential is clean water or water source and enough food for the person. And it takes planning. Do your own research, and all I can really say is just make sure you have the essentials first before you get into the luxuries, in a sense. Because if you have water, you have food, that's perfect. And I would suggest for clothing in this weather, especially in the snow, long johns are your friend, and
Having a base
thick
layer.
socks. Base layer, yeah.
Yeah.
Like if you have a base layer with like a jacket, well, you put your shirt over, then a jacket, you're gonna be okay if you're moving around. But sleeping wise, make sure your sleeping bag, if you do get a sleeping bag, if you are sleeping in a tent or a hammock, make sure your sleeping bag is at least 0 or below 0. Not Celsius, Fahrenheit. Please look up that, because unless you know the freezing point of water in Celsius, which is 0, you kind of have to do that calculation in a sense. But make sure you have a good sleeping bag so you don't freeze to death, especially in the snow in this weather. Now,
we've had a couple guys go camping with us, and
Yeah.
they don't realize that it gets that cold,
Yeah.
like we were mentioning
if
earlier.
you're not moving, you don't create body heat. You're just
And what
in one
is very
place.
important is to have thick socks. Wool socks are great, and if you don't, double up socks, because
Yeah.
you will wake up and your feet will be numb.
Yeah.
It's I've had it happen. It's not fun.
Me too. I mean, Gold Lake.
You want to have a good sleeping bag that, like, I have a mummy sack, so it zips all the way up, so only your face is covered. It's got a hood, but some people don't prefer it, so just get something thick enough, and then have stuff that's comfortable to wear while you're
Yeah.
sleeping, because you don't want to be sleeping in like jeans or like something thick and kind of stiff. But you do want to have those layers to keep your body temp up.
Warm, yeah.
Because like you said, you're not moving a lot.
Yeah, you're staying in one place. I mean, like,
you will be moving if you get cold enough.
yeah, I mean, 3 a.m. fires are always the way to go.
Oh my God, yeah. Those, they're like, they can be fun, but not when you have to.
Everyone's
do it.
miserable
When
at
you-
the 3 a.m.
When
fire.
you have to make one, it sucks.
Yeah.
I mean, it's great once you finally get warm again.
Yeah,
But
but then you're gonna get cold right
but
after.
God,
and
trying to get that thing started when everything is wet is
that's the
not
worst.
fun.
Like, you probably had to put lighter fluid on that to start it. I mean,
Thankfully, yeah, I didn't. Well, I didn't have lighter fluid.
I had
so
fire starter. I put in.
after I got it going.
I helped it, you know.
But what you do is, since the ground, everything on the ground was soaked, you go up to the trees, you find dead branches that are hanging, so they don't have time for water to soak in. That's your best bet. And then pine needles, the bunches, not like just picking them up off the ground, but there are branches with pine needles, like a big clump of them. Those are like a tinder box. They are so fantastic for starting
Oh, yeah.
fires in less than ideal conditions. So eventually, yeah, got it going, and then tried warming up.
Yeah, I mean that's really it for camping essentials. I mean, like, we kind of hit all the points. I mean, do you have anything
Proper
to add?
footwear.
Oh yeah, boots. Get
um,
like good
you
tread
want-
boots. Yeah.
You want anything that's going to cover, of course, still depending on the time of year. Water shoes, if you're going in the water, are fantastic.
I would recommend one boot. It's the Cabela's brand Ranger boot. Now, we're not sponsored, of course, but I like that boot because it's insulated for snow, and the treads on it are perfect for walking in snow, mud, and really rocky terrain. I would recommend that boot so much. I wear it, of course, but also another thing to look out for is stay away from steel toe or composite toe. Maybe composite toe because it is lighter than steel toe, but you're not going to be working in the outdoors. I mean, maybe if there's a tree falling, but if you use like steel toe or composite toe, like
They're
the
just not
steel
as
toe-
comfortable shoes as they could be with no like toe coverings. Yeah, usually you would just want any kind of composite or steel in a work environment where
like
you
if you-
have a larger risk of having stuff fall on your toes, especially in like shops.
Yeah, workshops like
Working with
welding or
working with anything
Yeah.
heavy duty. But yeah, no, for just being outdoors, it's not a huge
not
concern.
needed. It's really
I mean,
not
your
needed.
biggest, the
Just
biggest chance is
insulation.
having your toes rolled over by the truck,
Yeah,
or having maybe if you're moving some rocks or something, but
yeah.
nothing. Yeah, probably not as worth it to risk the comfort level.
I mean, yeah, just have your boots well insulated. You can tell if your boots insulated just by the fabric that's inside.
Yeah,
But
we recommend leather.
yeah,
Real
leather's
leather.
always good. You will have to get oil for the leather to keep it nice, and usually the leather boots are
Keep 'em
water
waterproof,
resistant.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, that's essentially the main essentials for camping in our experience. I mean, do you have anything to add, or?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Well,
Pretty much getting back to layers, just make sure you have anything warm, gloves, extra socks, warm hat,
yeah, just
because the name of the game is coverage. If you have everything covered, it'll be okay. It'll be fine.
I mean, just make sure to check your weather and
Yes.
expect the worst.
You need to know what you're getting yourself into, because the worst thing to do is to not look and just kind of wing it. So you can do that. Sometimes it works out sometimes. But when it doesn't, that sucks. Especially like we were talking about Rose.
Yeah, I mean,
That one was a little rough.
we can only share our experiences and recommend you guys, like,
You don't
the
have to
stuff
listen
that
to
we
anything
use.
we say. We're just
Like,
here
who
to,
are we? Oh, who are we? We're just two idiots in the middle of the woods.
we're just figuring.
We're just letting you
stuff
guys know.
out, just like you guys.
Yeah. Well, anyways, guys, we appreciate you listening to the Two Dirty Men podcast. I hope you have a good rest of your day. I'm Sean Madden.
Yeah, I'm Carson Baker. Thank you for tuning in to our first episode.
Yeah.
I'm excited for some more.
Oh, yeah, me too. Well, guys, we'll see you next Saturday. Take care, guys.